Get this, 1,500 euros for a studio apartment, 25 euros for a pizza. Sounds insane, right? But then, public transport is totally free, and the average salary is over 73,000 euros a year. So what's the deal? Today, we're going to unpack the real cost of living in Luxembourg.
Okay, so let's really dive into this what we're calling the Luxembourg paradox. On one side, you've got these eye-watering expenses. I mean, really shocking. But on the other, you have these incredible perks. So, is Luxembourg's reputation as one of the most expensive places to live just a myth, or is it the real deal? We're going to find out.
All right, let's kick things off with the big one, the absolute biggest financial hurdle for pretty much anyone moving to the Grand-Duchy, putting a roof over your head. Honestly, this is where your budget will either make it or break it.
And look at this. The sheer dominance of housing in a typical budget is just staggering. We're talking anywhere from 38% to 55% of a household's income. Yeah, you heard me right. More than half of your take-home pay could be going directly to your landlord. It's all driven by crazy high demand and, well, a pretty limited supply of land in one of Europe's smallest countries.
So for a single person, this is basically your starting point. Just for a small studio in the capital city, you are looking at a minimum of 1,200 euros, and that's before you've even thought about any other bills.
And if you're a family needing more space, whoa, the numbers just escalate dramatically. A 4-bedroom home can easily set you back between 3,000 and 6,000 euros a month. That's a figure that is often a huge shock to anyone moving here from, well, pretty much anywhere else.
And on top of that base rent, you've got to factor in some pretty significant extra costs. Utilities can easily add another few hundred euros a month. But the big one, the one that really gets people, is the security deposit. You'll need to cough up 1 to 3 months' rent in cash before you even get the keys. Ouch.
So how on earth do people manage these costs? Well, there are a few key strategies people use. First, you can move to cities outside the capital, which can slash your rent by up to 40%. Smart. Second, flat sharing is super popular for young professionals, and that can cut your costs almost in half. And finally, thousands of people actually choose to live across the border in France, Belgium, or Germany. The savings are huge, but that comes with the trade-off of a much longer daily commute.
All right, so we've covered housing. Let's move on to the next biggest chunk of your budget, your daily expenses. You know, everything from what you spend at the supermarket to a night out on the town. You know, a quick look at a supermarket receipt really tells the whole story. Grocery prices here are consistently 15 to 25% higher than in neighboring countries. Why? Well, it's mostly because almost all the food has to be imported. And this price difference, it's exactly why you'll see these convoys of cars with Luxembourg plates crossing the border every single weekend to do their weekly shopping. And hey, if you think groceries are pricey, eating out, that can really hurt the wallet. A simple lunch, like a sandwich and a drink, can easily set you back 15 euros. A single main course at a decent restaurant, it starts at 20 euros and just goes up from there. Seriously, these costs add up incredibly fast, which is why cooking at home is a major money saver here.
Okay, we've talked a lot about the costs, and it might sound a little bleak, but let's pivot to the other side of this paradox. The areas we're living in Luxembourg actually offers some unique and really significant financial relief.
And this right here, this is an absolute game changer. Since 2020, all public transport, I'm talking every bus, every tram, and every train in the entire country is completely free. And that's for everyone, residents, tourists, you name it. You just hop on and off. It's incredible.
And just to put that savings into perspective, take a look at other major European hubs. A monthly pass costs a pretty penny in Paris or Germany. In Luxembourg, residents are saving anywhere from 600 to over 1,000 euros per person every single year. That's real money back in your pocket.
Another huge perk is the excellent public healthcare system. All residents are covered by the National Health Fund, the CNS. It's funded by a small deduction from your salary, and in return, it reimburses the vast majority of your medical costs, from a routine checkup to emergency surgery. The system is super efficient, it's modern, and it just provides fantastic peace of mind.
So, what does this all actually mean for your wallet? We've looked at the big costs, we've looked at the big perks. Now let's put it all together and see what it really takes to live comfortably with 3 different real-world lifestyle scenarios.
Okay, first up, the single professional. For a young person living alone, this is a pretty realistic baseline. This budget allows for a studio apartment, a healthy social life, and, this is crucial, the ability to actually save a decent amount each month.
To make this work, you'd need a minimum gross salary of around 4,200 euros a month.
Now, for a couple without kids, sharing costs obviously helps a lot. This kind of budget can afford you a nice 2-bedroom apartment, a generous fund for travel and leisure, and a really solid savings plan. To live this lifestyle comfortably, you're looking at a recommended combined gross salary of at least 7,000 euros.
And now, for a family with 2 kids, the numbers, as you can see, jump significantly. Housing costs for a family-sized home are just plain high. And childcare? It's a massive expense, even with the government subsidies. So, to live comfortably and still save for the future, a family really needs a combined gross income of at least 12,000 euros a month. It's a huge number, and it really underscores the financial demands of family life here.
So, after breaking down all these numbers, a really clear picture starts to emerge, right? Luxembourg definitely demands a high income, but in return, it offers an exceptionally high quality of life, safety, and a ton of opportunity.
And that right there is the heart of the Luxembourg paradox. Those high salaries you always hear about, they aren't just a nice little bonus. They're absolutely essential to thrive here. They are the key that unlocks access to the country's amazing public services, its international environment, and its overall super high standard of living.
So ultimately, whether this trade-off makes sense, well, that comes down to a really personal calculation of value, what your career goals are, and what you really prioritize in life. It's a unique country with a totally unique financial model. So, what do you think? High prices for a high quality of life, is the Luxembourg trade-off worth it for you?